Okay folks, I found this on the street, not far from where I live, out the front on the car park. The car park just there, just where that Jeep or whatever that vehicle is, that's where I've pretty well found it. So we're going to make this into something interesting, hopefully. The nerds will inherit the copier world. Yes, we will, folks. Believe me, we will. Determination, grit, that's what it takes. And that's what we'll get. Not gonna darken it, we're not making it negative positive. Actually, we're not going to use that, I don't think. We'll soon find out. Yeah, we're going to go here. I'm going to make it even more green. Make it really nice. Let's see how we go with this. So we lost that setting because we set it on green. Yeah. Okay, enough of that. This is what we're photocopying. We want to really enrich that green to the point that it becomes like an emerald green, which I really love that colour. So I'm just going to put it up so like that. Pretty grotty. It's a rusty old tuna tin or some kind of tin, for all we know. I'm just going to put a bit of paper behind it or leave it like that. I'm going to leave it like that. Whoa, that's really emerald. You can't get much more emerald than that. Whoa. I don't like the way that I want to turn it up that way to make it more nicely angled. So we're just going to turn it up so, like say, like that. Maybe it's too emerald. It's too dark. It's a bit curly as well, unfortunately. I do think. It's already on the lightest setting. No, it's on the darkest. That's what I did wrong, but it was actually quite a nice look. I'm just going to put it in the middle. We're usually used to using those colour modes. The colour modes like RGB with negative mode, especially the red and sometimes the blue, and that's come up looking quite interesting. I think that's how we wanted. We've got that sort of shape to it. I'm just going to enlarge it across. Hopefully it'll turn out looking a real treat. Maybe we'll lighten it, and then we'll darken it as we go in our next take. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, it looks a bit flat, almost like it's flat, even though we've got some interesting colour with the yellow there, but that's got more feel to it. This is a little way too flat. So we're going to utilise this as our master copy. I'm going to just maybe darken that again, even though it's probably going to curl the page. which I don't like. So we're just going to remove our original. Yeah, well, today is, in Australia, it's Anzac Day. And basically, yeah, it's a really important time of the year to reflect. Even though I don't really think about it much, but I have to admit that if it wasn't for these Anzacs, we probably wouldn't have the freedoms we have today right here in our country, Australia. I've done that wrong. No, this is wrong. No, this is useless, this user interface. But yeah, we wouldn't have the, probably wouldn't have the same freedoms, even though war is a horrible thing, folks. I never liked studying at school. I always wanted to focus on what man has made, and I was centering it on the photocopier. And that was my interest for most of my high school days, except for year 7. Year 8 was when I started really getting into the photocopier feel of things. Going to move it, lessen it, but that looks really quite nice. But yeah, I just wanted to focus on what man had made, the photocopier, not what man had destroyed. And we just, I don't know why we had to learn that shit at school. Why couldn't we just learn about inventions and stuff? Aren't they worthy of history instead of just people blowing each other up? I mean, seriously, why do we need to study that shit? You know, why can't we just study what we want to study? That's what, you know, school shouldn't be so fucking regimented and shitty. But that's what school is. School is a horrid place. And it's like being in a war. I mean, sometimes I feel like I've been to war at school because I was teased and bullied mercilessly, and it led to me living quite miserably. And yeah, I did some stupid things in my life too, and these were in part created through the amount of bullying I received, and I didn't know what to think and what to do, and I didn't know what was right and what was wrong, or I just felt so hated upon myself. So maybe a little bit of PTSD or something in there, for all I know. But, you know, you got to try not to think of the past. You got to try not to dwell on it. Although you could say Anzac Day is like dwelling on the past, you could say. And that's really come up looking quite interesting, but I've lost some of that horizontal. I don't like it. I don't like the way I did that. Maybe because we've just gone up to this curvatured part. I don't know what to do with this one, folks. Maybe I made that one too drastic. Maybe I should just cut it off here. But yeah, I did go through some horrible things at school, and fortunately I didn't have my head put down the fucking dunny. They used to threaten me with that, folks. That was a common threat. Fortunately, that turned out to be nothing more than saber rattling. They never actually carried out what they said they'd do, or what, yeah, fortunately. But it would have been horrible if it happened. I'm glad it didn't, though. But school was an awful place, and it was like being in a form of warfare. Not nice at all, folks. But I had no power over these bitches. There were so many of them. I was outnumbered. 1 to hundreds of these bitches. It's like they all wanted to clone themselves on hating me. It's like, what did I do to deserve it? You know, what did I do to deserve having to, inverted commas, go to war every day when I was at school? It was like war. It was horrible. Fortunately, I didn't have any weapons pulled out on me. Fortunately, maybe it wasn't as bad as what it could have been, because sometimes people, when they get bullied, they get seriously injured or nearly killed. Fortunately, that wasn't the reality in my situation. Yes, I occasionally got into physical confrontations, and basically that wasn't nice, but fortunately I didn't end up injured, and I didn't end up injuring others. Oh yes, I did. When I was in grade 1, I did scratch somebody who picked a fight with me, a boy, and I ended up at special school because of him. And basically, yeah, that was in grade 1, so that was primary school, folks. And this is all curled up and horrible, unfortunately, folks. Sorry about that, to let you folks down who wanted to see a really good piece. But, you know, you can't always control everything, just like the people at school. But you can just see pretty much what it's meant to be like. I think we can now call this demo quits.